Wright Way Wednesday. Before I get into my topic, just a financial tip for you is if you have a LLC, a corporation, business, anything of that nature, you should start looking into your taxes and what tax deductions and tax breaks you can actually write off or have a deduction for this year. This is a good time to be looking at all the stuff that you did over this year and what ways you can actually get deductions or get write offs. So if you haven't started it already, go ahead and get started. So, my topic on tonight is the culture shift, why people are leaving the church. I've been talking in the past about something that somebody sent to me as far as why people were actually leaving the church. And one of the things on that list was the culture shift. In the church, you have had a lot of shifting as far as what churches believe in and what they actually do. The shift that has happened in most churches is they have become more secular and more worldly. And so, for a lot of people, this makes it hard for them to decide whether or not they should actually be in the church or if they should be somewhere else. Because if they see the same things going on in the church that they see in the world, then it's one of those things where what am I actually coming out of? I thought I was coming out of living like this, being like this, but I see that there's more people in the church that are like the people of the world. So this will move a lot of people to not actually want to go to churches because they see that and they see that the church is more worldly probably than the people in the world. And with that happening, it moves people to say, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just go back to the world that I was already in. Now, to that point, I could definitely agree that the church and the world shouldn't look the same. So, meaning that our music shouldn't look the same, the movies that we do shouldn't look the same, the way we talk and act, it shouldn't actually look the same. And then definitely uh, any church that you're going to should be pushing you to live in a different standard than what you actually used to live. There's, like I've always said, there's no one perfect out there in the world. The only person that was perfect was Jesus Christ. So, with that being said, we all have something that we need to actually work on. And so, when you go to church, this would be something where you should be working on yourselves, and the people at the church should be helping you to actually work on yourself and actually change from who you actually are. But in most cases, I have found that some people in church they don't like to actually grow. They actually like to stay just how they are. Or in most cases, people want to know how much sinning can they do and still make it in. Or can I wait to that last minute and then basically change my life at that last minute when I know it's about to be up. So with that being said, this is why people have a struggle with seeing the church actually look just like the world because they feel like when they go to church, there should be something different about it. And like I said, I can agree to that there actually should be something different about church and how church people act. The problem, though, that you will definitely find is that there are some people who are walking out and doing what they actually, the Bible tells them what to do, are following them to the best of their abilities. And then you'll see that there's other people who basically aren't. But instead of worrying about what those people are actually doing, your focus should be about what am I doing? How am I actually living? How am I actually changing myself and my life? And how's the word speaking to me to actually make those changes? If you sit around and you worry about other people and what they're doing, this will just lead you to not find any place that's actually perfect or that's actually right. But there's so many different churches out there. So if you do go to a church and you feel like this church culture that they have is not right, or you feel like the people aren't leading you in the right direction that you want to go, always leave and find yourself another church that you can actually go to. There's so many churches out there that you don't have to just go to one and just say that's just it. If you find that the church you're at or the church that you're going to isn't helping you out or helping you to grow, or it's just something wrong with the culture there, I would say go and find yourself another church. There's so many different churches out there for people to actually go and be a part of. And then, even with that being said, there's some people who want to grow more. There's some people who don't want to grow more. There's some people who want a happy, nice church. There's some people that want a church where the preacher is yelling at you and screaming at you and telling you you're going to hell if you don't change your life around and things like that. So if that's the type of church that you want to go to, then it's out there for you. Or even there's some churches out there that they talk about money all the time and how to bless you through money and things like that. So there's plenty of churches out there for people to actually go to. So don't just get stuck on one and say, hey, well, you know what, this church didn't do or act in the culture of how I feel that church should be. So you just give up on churches and going to church. Find yourself another one. But make sure you find one that's actually leading you in the right way and the right direction. If it's not, then this is something where you may say, hey, you know what, I need to back up and I need to go to a church that will lead me in the right direction. Lastly, I will say there's many scriptures in the Bible that talks about the world and basically deals with the world. But one that I like that I think deals definitely with church culture and how church culture should actually be is John 15, chapter 15, verse 18 to 20. And in that scripture, it talks about if the world hates you, know that it hated me first. And basically, if you are of the world, then the world won't hate you. It will actually love you. And so the reason why that one always speaks out to me as far as church culture is because basically churches shouldn't, not to say that they should be hated by people, but if everybody's comfortable about you, nobody gets offended by you, nobody ever gets offended by the things that you say, you don't make people feel uncomfortable, then I would say that there's definitely you may not be getting the full gospel. Because whenever I have read the Bible and the scriptures, it actually beats you up. And what I mean by that is you have to deal with the toughness of the Bible and knowing that you have to actually make some changes in your actual life. And if you find that the church that you go to doesn't cause you to change anything about you, then there may be an issue with your church, or it may be actually an issue with you. But definitely, I would say that the Bible, with just reading it and going through it, there's a lot of tough things that you have to actually deal with. And so this is why I say it will cause you to actually change from the actual world. And this, I don't want anyone to get this mixed up in any kind of way, but this doesn't mean that you go around trying to make sure everybody hates you. This just means that you know that there's something different about you, and other people will be able to see it, and you will actually start to see it yourself. But if you're just like everyone else, and there's nothing actually different about you, then this means that there's possibly something wrong with your church culture, and like I said, maybe something wrong with you. So make sure that whatever church culture you go to, that's leading you to actually change. This has been another Wright Way Wednesday. Enjoy your night.